Do you support infanticide, killing a child after he's born?
I do not agree with the basis of that question,
What's
but
the
I
basis?
do believe that abortion is health care.
Okay, so I'll take that as a yes, you do agree with infanticide. Mrs. Shannon, do you agree with infanticide?
Well, I think you're using inflammatory language to basically describe a situation that does not happen. We don't have infanticide happening. Doctors would not do that, and neither would folks who have carried pregnancies.
Okay, would a healthy child, do you agree if a healthy child is born, that it's that woman's right to decide if it lives or dies?
What I think is, based on your question, you have a very low opinion of pregnant people.
So one of the marks of the way that the right wing in this country behaves and thinks is to make everything as simple as possible. And that's one of the things that I always point out about the Republican Party and just, just kind of right-wing white boys in general. Everything is so simple. Yeah, everything's so simple for you. You know what I mean? So again, this type of an issue for him to where he's just completely being a jackass, completely being condescending. Let's just, put that out there first and foremost. When these women, were explaining that the notion that he was putting forth really isn't reality and really isn't something that takes place on any type of frequent basis. He's like, I'm assuming in all those words that you're totally down with infanticide. Like, no, none of those women said that after a woman has a child, we're just going to put it on the table and kill it. That's not what happens. So again, it's making everything so simple. Because when everything's so simple, everything's black and white. And when everything's black and white, everything's like this. And when you're closed-minded, well, yeah, you don't really have to think about much of anything. And that, my friends, is very dangerous.
Because if you think that anybody would carry...
Answer the question.
Excuse me.
Answer the question.
I'm answering it. Do you
no,
want
you're not.
You want
I
to
will
answer
take it
or
that
you
you
want to
agree.
keep talking over witnesses? What I'm telling you is nobody would carry a pregnancy and then decide on a Monday because they are bored that they want to have an abortion. That's ridiculous. And it's inflammatory. What you're saying, you're talking about families who are in tough situations where folks have been excited about carrying a pregnancy. Most of the abortions that happen later in pregnancy are really tragedies where it's really a disappointment for everyone involved.
But you agree with, I take it with all those words, you do agree with basically murdering a child after they're born.
And as the late, great George Carlin once said, never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. And this is very true, and you can see it shining through here. I mean, look at the vitriol that this man had. And one of the ladies actually pointed out that he really just has a negative perception and a really bad attitude towards pregnant women. Because the only way for him to be so condescending is if in his mind, again, everything's simple, everything's black and white. Women just get pregnant on a Tuesday and they wait 7 months to go get an abortion, even though we know that typically isn't what happens. And oftentimes when women do get abortions, it's because it's needed to save their life because there's something very wrong with the pregnancy. So again, we can't get too caught up in things like this, but unfortunately there's millions of people in this country who this is driving their thinking and how they vote. They look at the issues very simplistically and they look at the other groups of people, basically being anyone who's not conservative, anyone who's not white Judeo-Christian, and people who fit that group increasingly because the Republican Party and right-wing outlets are fanning, the flames of hate and pushing things like the great replacement theory. This type of sentiment in the country is growing.
Miss Graves, could you answer that? Would you just yes or no?
I have to say, Congressman, how you just characterize the representative's statement is extremely inflammatory and the type of thing that it's dangerous.
And what
you guys have been talking today about the threats against crisis pregnancy centers, which I assume are serious and are terrible. The threats that people who work on abortion access take every single day.
I'm assuming that you're for infanticide. I would also say that her language of health.
Madam Chair. Gentleman's time.
So, as Roe v. Wade was just taken back, we know, as I pointed out, that we have all the indication we need that the Supreme Court is going to continue to take our rights away. They're going to continue to take big things onto the chopping block because they've already shown us that we will. And unfortunately, we know how hyper-focused and hyper-obsessed the right wing in this country is on the transgender community. I mean, every channel you turn to, whether it be on cable television or on YouTube, they gather around and they all just whine and complain about transgender people. And they think they're having brilliant conversations. But again, unfortunately, what does this lead to? It leads to legislation. It leads to policy. It leads to things like Roe v. Wade being taken back. So it leads to violence. It leads to persecution. It leads to open season. And that's really what's happening in this country. We're devolving, we're moving backwards. While the rest of the world is advancing humanity forward, the United States is becoming one of the biggest anchors that's keeping us stuck.